in Trump's tweets, they were focusing on solidifying power for the most wealthy and upholding the ugliest parts of this country's past. We cannot afford to be divided. We cannot afford to be divided now, not at this moment in history. We cannot allow our petty differences and our overdrawn egos, our fight for marginal position and limited authority to come at the collective death of our destiny. Now that this maniac has the ability through the Supreme Court to hurl us back into the Stone Ages, we have to love each other even more, hold on to each other longer and tighter. We have to struggle for unity and chart a course forward. In 1896, Plessy versus Ferguson made segregation a law of the land. It ushered in legal support for hatred and white supremacy for more than 60 years until Brown versus Board of Education. Newark, we don't have another 60 years to give to these evil people and their evil ideas. This means locally we must fight to give unions power to organize, to protect our undocumented and our immigrants, to sustain our environment, to fight for equality in public and private sector, to register more people to vote, to make it easier for them to vote, and to restore the rights to as many of those that have lost the right to vote as we can. It means that we have to bring our police and our community closer together, that they have to represent us. It means we have to open our books and employ as many as we can, provide greater access to the quality of education, and grow our economies locally. It means we have to depend on each other more than we ever have in our lives. It means we embrace each other, we uplift each other, that we recognize the humanity in each other despite our disagreements, and we recognize our diversity not as just a strength, but as a necessity, that we understand that we cannot just do well and do good, but in order to do well, it necessitates that we do good. It means we need a local strategy that has a global view. It also means we need the county to help us, we need the state to help us, and we cannot hoard resources and covet power. We have to share it for our collective benefit. And we certainly could not have afforded, especially in Newark, to have our state shut down because our schools need resources, our workers need training, our roads need paving, the unsheltered need housing, the sick need care, our communities need investments, and we don't have the privilege or the luxury of jeopardizing these things fighting over 21 millionaires. It is time that we throw this old way of doing things out. We need big imagination and wide-reaching goals. We need impossible ideas, the urgency of now, and we can't be tempered by the fear of failure or held back by dogma. In Newark, we finally got control of our schools back. We have a new superintendent. And we support him. And he has to begin with big sweeping steps and not be timid. He needs to carve out all that has kept our children languishing in self-defeat. Carve it all out and allow self-determination and democracy and innovation to thrive. And he has to do it now, but he has to do it with all of us in mind. We have to allow it to take our course. Don't be afraid. Don't be scared of the future. The future looks like you. It looks like Newark. It looks like our babies. Let's do it and do it now. We are a contender for Amazon, and I don't apologize for that. We have billions of dollars of growth happening in our city. We can't be afraid of it or turn away from it. We have to embrace it and the challenges it comes with. It does not mean our problems will end. It means new ones will begin. We have to struggle for affordability, employment, and investment. And we need the best and the brightest and the bravest among us to solve these problems now. We have to use it to empower ourselves. And just because you can't point to where this has happened anywhere else in history does not mean it can't happen now in Newark today. Our ideas have to be bigger than our doubts, and our answers have to be bolder than our questions. We have an opportunity now more than ever to mold, to develop our city, to defy expectations, to not live out old stereotypes or be labeled the next Brooklyn. But it's going to take work and collaboration and commitment. We have to be as committed to tomorrow as we are to our right now. We have to be as committed to loving each other as we are committed to throwing stones at one another. We have to be committed to building as much as we are to tearing down. We can't be content with the way things were or the way things are. We have to have the courage to test our ideas and make the impossible possible. Look, I've grown up in these streets. I've learned here, I've taught here, I raised hundreds of people's children here. I've rallied in these streets and got arrested for protesting. I've led schools here and organizations and cultural institutions here. I legislated here, and now I govern here by the grace of God. But ultimately, I live here. This is my home, my city. And I know through my journeys here that we love our city, all of us, an undeniable love. And despite the hardship, the issues, the dark moments, we will find a way to win. We always do. We will find a way to be victorious. And now more than ever, that spirit of victory is alive. It is alive. It is alive in all of us. Our city is poised to work together. We are more collaborative now than we have ever been. Our success lies in our ability to lean on one another, to hold each other up, and see our victory in each other's goals. All we have to do is let it happen, to push away anyone or anything that stands in the way of that momentum. It does not mean we will always agree and we will never struggle. It means we invite disagreement and look forward to struggle, because we know at the core of our struggle is our striving for unity. We can no longer fight just for fighting's sake. And we can't be drawn into battles that are simply over personal disputes. We can't risk our tomorrow because you are upset right now. We have to march into our future together. What I'm asking you to do is not for the faint of heart, not for those that lose faith easily. It is not for those that seek fame or opportunism, that want position to seek power for themselves, but for those that use position to empower all of us. It's not the time for the weak. It's not the time for the meek. This is the time for the courageous, those that would risk it all for the good of everyone. We know we need those with a mind to work, but better a mind to build. We need those that are willing to use every bit of ingenuity they have to help solve decades-old problems. We need big dreamers and even bigger doers. We can't hold on to the past. We cannot hold on to the past. We have to respect it, but we have to eulogize it. We honor our past, we honor our ancestors, not by quoting their speeches or paying tribute to their legacies, but by remembering how far they traveled, the rugged terrain they crossed, the sacrifices they made, and the hardships they endured. We remember the pain of their poverty and the steps they took without always seeing the staircase. We remember what they fought for, what they died for, and we vow not to romantically live what they lived, but to take what they have left us to do and complete it. We carry the baton that they've given to us. We can no longer carry it just for ourselves. We have to carry it for hundreds and thousands that come after us. Our job is to keep pushing, keep building, keep imagining a place better than the one we have now, and creating as much of it as we possibly can. Despite how much people try to push us back, we stay the course. We keep the faith. We march onward. I know there are those who are comfortable with the politics of cynicism, that thrive off of our division and misinformation, even those today that show up when things go wrong and are never there when assignments are passed out or responsibility given over, that ever show up when it's time to build. They can be found feeding themselves off our demise. These are those people for decades that enriched themselves in corporate boardrooms and even on the streets at our rallies. Persistent people who are always there. You see them all the time in the middle of drama, in the middle of problems, in the middle of complaint, in the middle of misery, but they don't have one solution to any of the problems that we endure. They stand in our way. They are in our way. stopping us from seeking common ground, stopping us from winning, stopping us from victory, stopping us from finding solutions. They are people who become pimps of our poverty. Today, this day at NJPAC, this election, we vow to throw it all away, to never go backwards. We won't stop. Despite those whose job it is to stand in our way, we keep going. Our march may be tumultuous, but we keep going. It may be filled with deep valleys, but we keep going. Virtually impassable steeps, but we keep going. It may be burdened with heavy boulders, but we keep going. And we may not reach our destination in this term or the term after or the term after that, but we keep going. This is why we say, Newark forward, forward ever, forward ever, forward ever, forward ever, forward ever. God bless the city of Newark, and God bless the great state of New Jersey.
Councilman Gonzalez.
I finally made it to NJPAC. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. Thank you, Mr. Lewis, for allowing me to speak after the mayor. I will be the counterpoint to the mayor. The mayor had more than 5 minutes. I'm going to have less than 1. Well, thank you very much. I would like to thank my wife, Margarita, for allowing me to do this again. To my friend Sammy Gonzalez for the work that he did with the North Ward Democratic Organization. To Amiri Baraka and the team Baraka for the work that they did throughout the city. To my staff, friends, and supporters. And to you, the voters of the city of Newark. You for trusting me again for another 4 years. Thank you very much. We have a great opportunity in front of us. Working together with administration, we have the opportunity to realize the long-awaited renaissance in the city of Newark. Let's move the ball down the field and score the winning touchdown. God bless Newark, God bless New Jersey, and God bless us. Thank you very much. God bless.
Councilman James, would you step forward?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. We're blessed to be here today. I'd like to thank God for waking us up this morning, allowing us to be here. I thank my council colleagues for these past 4 years, my first full term as a councilman, and look forward to continued teamwork during the next 4. And also welcome our newest councilwoman, LaMonica MacGyver. I'd like to thank my staff, my council staff, now led by Lane Lee, who were there before, during, and after the campaign. For my church home, Zion Hill